guys, let's jump right into it. I don't really have a lot to talk about with episode 3 because they really didn't give me anything. It kind of seemed like a filler episode, and they keep on building up to this like Michael and wanting to suck somebody's husband's penis. So we keep on building up to that, but we're never like quite getting there. So there wasn't a lot that happened. I just considered it a filler episode. The only thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm kind of sensing a theme here, and I don't know, maybe one of the husbands will be problematic, but Giselle continues to mention the white husbands being problematic. And the thing about it is, the scenarios that she's mentioning are not problematic. Like she had a problem with Candace's husband, Chris. She had a problem with him using R&B lyrics as his vows for his wife. Like she had a problem with that because he was white. And I'm like, Giselle, you of all people, okay, you look like his kin. And then she had a problem with Gollum, forget his name. She had a problem with Gollum dressing up in the 90s R&B theme for the party. Like that is the way you're supposed to dress. That is the theme of the party. He didn't have on anything problematic. He was really dressing like he was freaking Will Smith from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm like, there's a problem with him because he's wearing a jumper and a hat to the back. White boys in Boston dress like that all the time. Sans the jumper, but they always got a hat to the back. Like that's their culture if you want to be real with it. So I just don't understand why she keeps on trying to bring it up. And I'm hoping that she's not bringing this up because the season isn't really good. Because I feel like when they start doing this, like making little things a theme, like a dog. Oh my goodness, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Guys, I'm trying to get into it. It's so boring. It's so boring. Everything has been about a dog. When Lisa Vanderpump got a freaking lie detector test to prove that she didn't tell a story about a dog, I was like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm going to check it out this week. And if they give me something, I will review it. The same thing with New York. New York has been giving it. I just have not had the time on Wednesdays. I have rehearsal. I'm in the improv team and we rehearse on Wednesdays. So it's just really hard for me to, like, after rehearsal, do a review. But I'm going to try. I really, really am, especially if they bring it this week. But the Housewives shows have not been bringing it. They have not been bringing it. It's been very disappointing. Atlanta was trash. Beverly Hills is very boring. Right now, the only one really holding them down is New York. And it's always New York. New York is always holding them down. So it's just really disappointing that we're here at this point with these housewife shows because they were so good for a very long time. I'm just hoping that if Giselle is mentioning this because they put it in the show, everything that they put in the show has a reason. So they kept these comments that she made about the white husbands in the show. So I don't know if it's leading up to something or it's just that they put that in because they just need to fill space. I hope it's the first thing and not the later because that lets me know that the season is not that good. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about that happened in episode 3 is Penisgate. So Michael is drunk off these Heinekens and he is feeling himself. I'm not going to say that this man is bisexual or gay. Like, I'm not going to say that. What I will say is that it looked as if he was flirting with the black men at the party. It appeared that way, especially that brother by the bar. And I don't know if the brother was receptive or just being nice. Like, I don't know what was going on, but like Michael has a type and it's black, okay? Because he was chatting him up. And then he was making all these comments about, the men at the party, they're behind and their bodies. And, then later we get like just little clips of the ladies in their confessionals, specifically Candace and Robin, talking about that they heard Michael say that he wanted to suck somebody's penis and that the guy is his boyfriend and that he misses him. I don't know who he was talking about, but I do know that he said to Robin, where's my guy? Talking about Juan. And I think he said, where's my boyfriend? Or something like that. He said something inappropriate about Juan to Robin because Robin came and Juan didn't. So I don't know if the guy that he was talking about fucking was Juan. Who do you think that he was talking about? Was it Chris? Because I don't think it was Chris because he likes black men. Oh, well, I'm not going to say he liked nothing. I'm just saying it appeared that way. So who do you guys think that he was talking about? I think that he was talking about Juan. That's what I think. We will see. Let's get into episode 4. Here's my problem with episode 4 and episode 5. No Penisgate. I feel like, guys, and I think this show, this specific franchise, I think they have like 15 or 17 episodes. I'm not sure. I'll check and I'll let you guys know in the next review. But I think they have close to like 20 episodes. And I'm just like, if we're in episode 4, y'all have already started talking about Penisgate in episode 3. How long are you guys going to hold on to this information? Like, how long are you guys going to keep on teasing until we actually talk about it? Because if they hold this penis gate till episode 10, I'm going to have a problem. Because they should not have let us know that this is going to be the theme of the season, or start just giving us little confessionals from later in the season right now. Because now that's all I want to talk about. I want to know whose penis is Ashley's husband want to suck. Real talk. You didn't put it out there, so now I'm curious. And now here we have these filler episodes that I'm just like, nah, y'all not gonna do this with me. I love my people, but y'all can keep all this Black history stuff. I want to know about Penisgate. Giselle shares too much with her children. Like, she really involves her daughter with way too much of her life. I think kids should be aware of what's going on in their parents' lives. They don't need to know every detail. She always tells them if she breaks up with Sherman, if she gets back with Sherman, if they're going through a rocky patch, if they're in love. Like, I just feel like you gotta let them grow and not process things so early on, because you're robbing their innocence with all of this information about you and your man. If Giselle was actually a good friend, she wouldn't need her daughters to be her therapist. Candace and her mother. This is the thing. I'm not team Candace's mom. I think that her mom crosses way too many boundaries with her. But Candace does not set them, and here is why. Candace is receiving financial assistance. Her and her big husband are receiving financial assistance from her mother. So she won't say anything to her mom, especially when she's in need. But once the money is deposited and spent, then she starts getting buck and starts disrespecting her mom. I'm not okay with that, because the thing about it is, the woman wouldn't be in your life if you and your whole husband, white, with privilege. I just don't understand. Sisters, listen. If you're gonna go white, tap into that privilege. I just can't get behind the way she treats her mom, because her mom would not be in her life like this if her and her whole husband stopped accepting funds from her. You know what I mean? I just can't believe that her husband, Chris, is okay with that. Like, he is okay with the mom paying like part of your mortgage. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that men who have extreme pride are attractive, but just a little bit. Like, no, I got this. I don't want you looking at my mom every month like, how are we gonna do this? You know what I mean? So Candace has created her own prison, right? And my issue is that she blames her mother for it. But the problem here is Candace. If Candace stops accepting her mother's assistance, then her mother will start to look at her as an adult where she is not needed. But her mother is still treating her as if she is like a teenager or like a preteen or like a toddler, to be quite honest with you, because she still has to provide for Candace that way. She's not jumping in and, giving you guys a lump sum for your wedding, paying for the wedding like parents normally do of the bride. She's doing that, and she's also paying your rent, paying the bills, paying your hair and makeup, paying for all of these things for you and your husband. And then you get mad at her and want to cuss her out. How is that fair? She's wrong. I get it. She is in too much. I did not like how she treated her brother. I did not like how she was walking around there like she owned the place, but she did because she paid for that wedding. Like, that was her coin. So that was her wedding, and she said it, and Candace had to accept it, because if she didn't accept it, she wasn't going to get the wedding of her dreams. So you can't say, oh, I don't like what you're doing, but still give me support. You gotta set your own boundaries by getting yourself financially free, Candace. That's when you or your mom will be in a much better place, because she wants her mother to treat her like she's financially independent of her, and she's not. And I honestly think that her mom loves her. She will care for her child in any which way, but I don't think that any parent is comfortable, especially with supporting your child and their partner, especially your daughter and her husband. Every parent got a problem with that, because their thing is, you took her out of my home, so now my job is done. That's on you. But now y'all both then came back to me, and I got to feed and support the both of you, and then you get spicy? No, not okay. And can we also talk about how they've been living in this townhouse for 6 years? 6 years. 6 years, the both of y'all. And y'all supposed to be these lavish people, could not get up the money to just be independent of the mortgage on your own, especially a townhouse in Potomac. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I have lived in New York City, and I currently live in Los Angeles. They not paying what I'm paying. And I ain't even got a townhouse. Ain't no way. You mean to tell me the both of you working people, unless Candace ain't working, see, that's the game right there. She don't want her mother to check her, but she also don't want to work. That's the problem. So I just can't believe that within 6 years, they have not been able to come up with enough money to take the townhouse or move into something else. If you don't like how this lady is treating you, then move out. but you won't move out because you want this townhouse. You want this lavish life. So the thing is, I just can't side with Candace right now because I feel like this is her own doing. This is her own doing. And her husband ain't no good either, because this is the thing. You see your wife is in a situation. Also, I just can't get over the fact that he got his hand out too to her mother. Like, you are showing your husband how to treat your mom because you got your hand out and he got his hand out, and you don't feel no way about that. Like, that is so bothersome to me that he is sitting up there building. See, he's building while Candace's mama is supporting her. I just can't get with Candace on this one, because this is a voluntary situation. She doesn't have to be in it. I just don't like her making her overbearing mother her storyline, because it's not being fairly depicted. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't want to work, and your man don't want to get a job that can support the both of you, because he's building right now. He's working on his restaurant and trying to become this and trying to become all that. So he'll take the money from your mama because he don't have to put in nothing extra. A husband. That I want to talk about is Giselle and Karen. So Giselle has the first girls trip, the first planned girls trip. She takes the girls down to New Orleans. She now has an issue with Karen because when she introduced Karen to her business partner, Karen started telling her business partner all the things about her business. And Giselle felt some way because she was hearing new things from Karen and things she didn't hear about her business plan. She was now hearing when Karen was speaking to her business partner. Here's my issue with that. Giselle, you and Karen haven't been friends for a while. I don't think that she realizes that she dragged this girl on national TV for an entire season. She dragged her twice. She dragged her while they were filming. Then Karen had to relive it after she buried her parents. So she was burying her parents while filming. Then she had to relive it while watching it still mourning. So I just don't think Giselle has grasped the amount of pain that she has caused this woman. So she's not trying to be buddy back with you yet because she doesn't trust you. So Giselle gets mad at that. So she holds that the whole trip. So now they're down in New Orleans and she takes the ladies cooking or whatever. First of all, can we talk about this cooking? Let me tell you something. On a girls trip, I don't want to cook. I'll do that with my man in Italy while the sun sets and we just making pasta and being booed up and kissing and stuff. But not on a girls trip. That's the last thing I want to do is cook. So anyway, cooked and they've made their dinner. Now they're sitting down and they're talking and just busting it up like girlfriends do. Giselle decides to mention her issue with Karen. Karen once again is caught off guard and she feels like, man, I shouldn't have came here because I'm trying to move forward with this girl. She's telling me that she has changed and here we are again in the same situation. She's caught off guard. She's hurt. Giselle is over here playing victim. And it's like, first of all, I don't know nobody who has a business who sits down with their friends and tells them every piece of setup of their business. It's just not realistic. Nobody does that. But when they're in company of somebody who can help their business grow, they start talking to them different because it's business. Me and you are just friends. I'll tell you the fun stuff. I'll tell you the tea. I'm not telling you numbers. Why am I telling you numbers? If we're just hanging out, it doesn't make any sense. And especially if we've had beef, I'm not telling you nothing. So I just could not get with Giselle once again attacking Karen with something that is just baseless. Speaking of Karen, mother, them braids. Oh, I'm rooting for her this season, but those braids were sickly. Why would you braid a wig that has... The wig was like ombre, and never do ombre braids unless the ombre is all the way at the end, because you will end up looking like Karen with bald spots. The wig it wasn't enough hair, and then the ombre hair was the same. The ombre root hair was just way identical to the cap. Great job, but it just made it seem like she had no hair, she had no space. It just looked very, very sickly. She had too much space. It just looked very, very sickly. It wasn't a good look, but she loved it. She loved it. And I'm like, Karen, you did not have to do this. She could have did a little pussycat wig and that would have been cute. Why did she do these sickly braids? And why didn't anybody say anything? Y'all are not friends. Y'all are frenemies. Now let's get into episode 5. So we come back. We left off at the dinner. We come back at the same place where Giselle and Karen are still going back and forth over should Karen have told her about her business plan. Giselle was feeling slighted by it. And I'm still Team Karen. And I also don't think that she should have been the one to apologize to Giselle for not telling her business after they were not even friends. And I also was just shocked that a lot of ladies at the table were not defending her. A lot of them, of course, Robin was going to defend Giselle. Y'all know I think she's Giselle's side. Anyway, so of course she was going to defend her, but I just felt like a lot of other people were doing it too. Even when Karen got up, like nobody is, except for Candace, nobody really, tried to vouch for her in that situation and tell Giselle, no, what you're doing is wrong. You guys weren't cool. You just got back cool. She was talking business to this woman. She wasn't talking business to you. I also think that Giselle did this because she just wanted to get the recognition that she did something for Karen in front of the group. And never take anything from anyone who gives like that, because they're not giving it from their heart. They're giving it for selfish reasons. They're either giving it so that they can get attention and accolades, or they're either getting it so they can get something even greater from you. Never ever befriend a person like that, work with a person like that, or take a loan from a person like that, because they will continue to use whatever they did for you to manipulate you and to manipulate people around you. And then Candace starts talking about her mama. Listen, I told y'all I'm not Team Candace on this situation, right? However, when she was speaking about her mom and the way that she spoke to her as a therapist, I got it, right? I still think that Giselle needs to become independent. That's one of her greatest issues with her mother, and it's not her mother's fault that she's supporting and helping you. It's your fault that you are at this big age with a whole husband and you still need financial support from your mom, not because you're struggling, but because you want to keep up a certain lifestyle. I am not opposed to you getting help from your family, from your friends, from your parents. I'm not opposed to that, right? Especially if you were in need. Candace and her husband want to attain a certain lifestyle. So that is why they continue to receive the support from her mother and they complain about it. It's just a very selfish way of thinking. It's selfish, and then you play victim. So how are you a victim when you are the one with your hand out? And it doesn't need to be. Anyway, so Candace, once again, has made her mother the storyline. She's talking about her mom and with her mom being a therapist and how her mother continued to diagnose her as a kid and even call her bipolar. And I got that, right? I got her breaking down about that and just feeling so much pain from that, right? Because could you imagine being a child and your parent is constantly diagnosing you, telling you that things are wrong with you, and putting these medical conditions on you just to manipulate you? See, this is the thing with Candace and her mom. They both manipulate each other. So her mother has used her therapist skills to manipulate her daughter into being a certain way. And now that Candace is this way, I'm not saying that she doesn't want to break out of it. Maybe she doesn't know how. Maybe that's it. I'll give her that and say maybe she doesn't know how to break out of this cycle that her mother has created. We'll go with that. In that moment, I felt really bad for her because I do know I have two friends who are therapists and they have therapists. They told me that therapists also have therapists. It's required because you spend so much of your time, your life's work is digging into people's brains. Sometimes you start digging in somebody's mind, you can't get out. So they need help to get themselves centered again. So we can only imagine what it was like with Candace growing up with her mom and the trauma that she endured. In saying that, I didn't think it was wise for her to not only say this to the women, but to say it on national TV. Because if her mom is still a practicing therapist, this now puts her business in jeopardy because I wouldn't want to go to her. You know what I mean? If I was in that area and I was looking for a black therapist, I am looking for a black therapist in LA. If you know of any black female therapists in Los Angeles, California, hit a sister up. Anyway, if I was looking for a black therapist in her area, I wouldn't go to her mother because Candace just gave her a terrible Yelp review. And I just don't think that this is good for business. I don't think that it's wise. And I also don't think that you want to make your mother your storyline for your season on a reality TV show, especially if you want to maintain or just have a good relationship with her, because in these reality TV shows, you have to be messy. That's why a lot of these women aren't really friends, they're acquaintances. So they'll feel okay about dragging this chick and dragging that chick and lying about this one and busting it up with this one or getting it into that one because they're approaching it as a job. They're not really friends. They're not really holding back from hurting somebody because they don't really know each other like that. They probably knew each other from just like certain circles, and now they started filming this show so they know each other a little bit better, but not enough where they won't go for the jugular. So for Candace's sake and for her mother's sake, I hope that she just drops this storyline this season, like dead it. You know what I mean? Also, it's tiring. This is your same storyline every season. It's tiring. You've only been on for 1.5 and I'm already annoyed. Please come back with something else because I wouldn't want you to destroy your mother's business. I wouldn't want you to destroy your relationship. And if your mother ain't working, you and your husband ain't eating. So use wisdom. Robin is me listening to Candace because when Candace was telling all her mother's business, Robin was sitting there looking at her like, and I was sitting there making the same face because I was like, I don't care how much Bravo is paying me. I'm not going to drag my mama and her business through the mud on national TV. Robin was just like, you will never get me like this. Oh no. Robin was like, I'll talk about certain things, but this right here, this ain't smart. You messing with the cookie jar. And let's talk about how Giselle was playing victim in her confessional and the producer got her right together. Giselle was just like, I've been a good friend to her. And the producer was just like, well, you did this, and this. And she was like, oh, you're right. Like she had to be reminded of the reasons why Karen don't want to rock with her. And she didn't have any comeback but to laugh it off. Like Giselle is just so delusional. And I hope that she's just playing it up this season and not this dense about why Karen doesn't want to rock with her. Oh, girl, that flashback scene of Monique's mother-in-law talking about, didn't I get that heifer together? Child, I didn't know how her and her husband were going to come back from that. Because this is the thing. I get that Monique and her mother-in-law have issues. When that woman said that and that dude sat there and laughed, I don't know. I couldn't imagine being the wife having to watch that on TV with my husband. Like, I would have been mortified. And I can understand her not wanting to rock with that lady, especially right now when she's carrying a rainbow baby. So I get her not wanting to deal with her. And I don't know how they can move on from that unless that woman sincerely apologizes, because Monique even mentioned she hasn't. She just went on like it hasn't happened. And I'm just like, that's not okay. That is not okay. And her husband really needs to intercede on her behalf because his mother humiliated that woman on national TV. That was not nice at all. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable because she has married him. She has given this man children, your grandkids. They are still together. She is your family. The way he has to love, honor, and respect her, you too, mother-in-law, you got to do the same thing. And if Monique was being disrespectful to you, listen, I can't go off of that because we didn't get that. All we got was every time you had a mic on you, you was ready to read her for filth. So you looking like the culprit in this situation. So I like to keep my reviews very lighthearted. I cannot talk about the ladies visiting the plantation because I was an emotional wreck. I was watching it and I was a mess. I could never fathom going on a plantation. But I have to. I got to do it for my ancestors. I got to do it. But I wasn't okay. And there was no comedy in that for me. So I don't want to touch on that. What I do want to talk about is how disrespectful Giselle's father was to Karen. That was wrong. And I can see where she gets it from. And the ladies just don't back her up. Maybe they don't like Karen. I don't know what it is. But I just felt like that, first of all, everybody's emotional. They're on a plantation where their ancestors were tortured. 2,200 children died on this freaking plantation. Everybody is emotional and raw. While he's giving a speech about the plantation, he makes a joke about Karen's bankruptcy or her financial issues. What? How is that okay? And how did they all just laugh it off? If I was Karen, I would have left. I would have left because this is the thing. People can take stuff, right? However, I just felt like it was such a low blow because everybody was so open and raw because of the moment and what was happening. To hit that woman while they're having this experience, it was just wrong. And I just could not. Listen, I am very respectful to my elders. I would have cussed that man out. I would have cussed that 88-year-old man out. Yes, you walk with Dr. Martin Luther King. You gonna get read like the Book of Revelations, Grandpa, because that was wrong. That was so wrong. And again, Karen had no backup. But she handled it like a champ. Like, she is able to really handle Giselle like a champ. I could never be that kind to her. But Karen, bravissimo, because it wouldn't have been me. Okay, so we end with the ladies going back to Giselle's suite and having a couple cocktails, and Giselle, being her messy self, mentions to Ashley that Candace says that she has a drinking problem. I don't think that Ashley has a drinking problem. I don't think that Candace believes this. I think that Candace got an issue with Ashley, right? I also think that Candace was told to say this by production because it came out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere. And every time she hangs out with Ashley, the both of them are drinking and she makes it seem like she's some lush. And Ashley had every right to be offended by that, especially when she's trying to have a child after having a miscarriage. And Candace didn't play her cards right because none of the ladies, even Monique, who was accused of drunk driving by Ashley, could not get behind Candace. Couldn't do it because Candace was wrong. She was dead wrong. And I hope she clears it up next episode, but it don't seem like it. Anyway, that was it for me. I felt like these episodes, they didn't really give us much, so I was able to put them all together. Let me know what you think of this review, and let me know what you think of the episodes in the comments section below, and I will see you next week for the following episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Bye, guys.